Hello and welcome to Traders Talk. I'm Lenka, and today I have a special guest who has made waves in the world of forex trading, day trader Daniel Dake. You might be wondering just how popular forex trading is in Nigeria. Well, Daniel is here to shed light on that. We will also learn about Daniel's trading journey as well as risk management rules. He will analyze the trading strategy that transforms his once unprofitable trading into long-term profit. And finally, the moment you have all been waiting for, Daniel's top 5 rules for becoming a successful trader. So stay tuned for this exciting interview. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. So without further ado, let's get started. Yeah, I'm really excited to have an interview with you because I have been listening to some of your spaces and they're just amazing on former Twitter. But today I would love to know more about your trading journey and your experience. So tell us a little bit about your background.
Hey, first of all, thank you for having me here. My name is Daniel Dake. I've been trading since 2015. When I stepped into the trading space, I wanted to sort of have an extra source of income where I would sustain myself in the university. So I got interested in trading because I could see other traders, other young people were making money from this thing. And I felt to myself, if these guys are doing it, then I can as well. So I went on to learning lots of strategies, started from baby peeps, went on to YouTube, watched a lot of traders just to understand the concept of trading and to understand how I myself can become a professional trader. And since 2015, I would say officially 2016, since 2016, it's been from one journey to another, one milestone to another. And I can tell you that ever since leading to where I am today, I would say every losses I've had, every wins I've had, did contribute to my success and to where I am right now. And I'm really grateful that I'm actually a trader because most of my friends in the university, I can tell you after graduation, a lot of them they're still searching for jobs till today. And I just love the fact that I started out early. I found my path and decided that I was going to be a trader. And yeah, Mark, today, teaching also my friends and my families how to trade. So I would say overall, it's been an amazing journey, being a one-on-one, and I'm so grateful to that.
Right. Can you tell me, what did you study at the university?
Okay, I'm a computer scientist. I studied computer science. And after university, I sort of tried to practice for like a year. But I just felt there was so much freedom from trading. And that was the reason I decided to just leave every aspect of my life and become a full-time trader.
Nice one. So you have been trading quite some time, since 2015, 2016. Where did you get your first trading capital? Because it's always an issue for novice traders.
Okay, so I got my first trading capital from my first trading capital or my first deposit was my tuition fee. And I made that because I was so confident about my expertise then, and I felt like I could flip this fund into probably 100% return, and then withdraw the profit and split it. But along the line, life happened, and that was my first loan account, and it was really, it really did affect me as a person because that was my tuition fee, and I couldn't ask my parents again. So yeah, that was my first capital.
So what did you do then?
Well, to me, as at that time, like I said, I felt so confident on myself and my knowledge of forex then, and that was the reason I made that choice. So after the whole experience, I couldn't talk to my parents, of course, and I had exams in like 2 weeks time. So what I started doing was I started looking for side jobs because I'm a social media manager and also I'm a graphic designer as well. So I started reaching out to my previous clients and talking to them if they have design jobs they would want me to do. If they needed some sort of e-cards or e-posters, they needed me to do just so I could recover the money I've lost to the market. And ever since, I think I had to take about let's say 3 months of break after that incident, because that literally broke me down.
But it's great that you came back, right? Because most of the traders, they would, they would give up after that kind of experience. And tell us, because you've been trading for some time, tell us your, time frame and milestones of your trading career. Because you said that you had ups and downs. So what were the most important stages of your trading career?
Okay. Like I said, right, I officially started in 2016, and since then it's been a roller coaster ride. I can tell you, had lots of depressive moments from blown accounts, because I'm not getting funding from an external source. It wasn't as though my parents were sponsoring my trading account. They were all personal funds. So I understood the sweat and the struggle it will take me to get, let's say, $200 or $300 to fund an account as a student. So when I started, I learned a lot of things, and that is one thing I keep telling traders, that if you're coming up as a trader, you need to spend the most of your time understanding the market. And that was what I did. I learned a lot of strategies, a lot of trading concepts, and whenever I learned a system, I would make deposit in my trading account and then start trading live, not realizing that I needed to practice the systems first before arriving into a live trading account. And my biggest loss that really affected me, aside my first deposit, would be, there was a time in 2019, or I think 2019, 2020, where I made a deposit of, I think, around $4,000, thereabout $4,000. And that was like from all my sweat, all my hustles, everything I could pull through. Because like I said,
So
I'm not
all your
funded by my
savings?
parents. All my
Yeah. So
savings,
you
all
took,
my savings.
wow.
It was really crazy, for real. All my savings, and I felt so ready. I really felt so ready that maybe it's about time to become that professional trader. So when I funded that account, I started trading. I would win today, I would lose tomorrow. I would win again, lose again, and it felt like for every win I make, the next loss would take back the profits. So at that point, I got to realize that my problem wasn't necessarily technical analysis. I understood that as a trader, I knew technical analysis. I knew how to analyze the market. I knew the directions of the trends. I knew the support and resistance, the supply and demand zones. So it wasn't basically that I had lack of technical knowledge. I had everything I needed. So I started asking myself questions. So where do I need to get better? Because I took this account from $4,000 to around, I think, $700 to $600 thereabout. And I felt so bad because these are things that I worked my ass off for this. I'm sorry for using that word. I literally worked myself out just to get that funding. So I started asking myself questions, and in 2020, I did something different. It was, for me, I called it a visibility study. Right, I needed to understand the industry, to understand how do the banks trade, how do the institutions trade, and that was where I started getting the peak moment, that it's not about technical analysis. It's about technical analysis combined with risk management, right? We need a solid risk management system for us to be consistently profitable. And that was what changed a lot for me, because like I said, it wasn't as though I didn't know technical analysis. I knew everything about technical analysis. I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube, but the problem was whenever I take a loss, it takes back my profits. So now I understood that the problem wasn't technicals. The problem was trade management and risk management as well. So I started focusing my entire energy on risk management. I said to myself, even if I have the most terrible strategy in the industry, I want to keep myself in a position where when I take 10 trades in a row and I lose about 8 of these trades, even if I have just 2 wins, I should still stay in profit. So that was what led to the change in my trading performance. I started seeing results when I moved my perspective from technical analysis to risk management. And that was what really changed a lot for me.
Nice one. I believe that most of the novice traders, they don't really pay attention to risk management. So tell us your, let's say, 5 top rules of risk management.
Okay, now
Do you have any checklist, that you have to check before you get into position?
yeah, when I started this, I had a checklist, right? But just like everything in life, with time comes experience, right? You grow to be so used to this thing that you really don't need a checklist again, because subconsciously it's in your mind and you know what you're looking for. So my first rule, which I would say, is assigning my maximum trade for the day. I need to know the maximum trade for the day. If I'm gonna take 10 trades or 5 trades or even 15 trades, I need to be pre-informed before the trading day. And for me, my rule has always been a maximum of 3 trades, a maximum of 3 trades a day. And that really kept me in focus, because now I know I don't have to scout for setups every single time. I don't have to be in the market every single time. I just have to look for the first 3 setups for the day. So that is my first rule. The maximum exposure for the day has to be 3 trades. And then when I made that decision, the next thing that came in was asking myself, if I'm going to take 3 trades every single day, what would be the percentage exposure to every trade I'm taking, right? If you're taking 3 trades, you need to ask yourself, would you be risking 1% on every trade? Would you be risking 2% on every trade? So these are things I had to ask myself. And to me, the best way possible was going for 0.5%. I needed to do 0.5% because I don't want to expose 3% of my equity every single day. I would rather expose 1.5% every single day. So I know that over the long term, I would still be in the market. A lot of traders don't realize this, right? You don't need to flip that account in a single day. You don't need to do it in like less than 2 hours. Give yourself grace, give yourself time. And that was what I started doing. I said to myself, maximum of 3 trades every day, maximum of 0.5% on every trade I'm going to take. And if I lose all 3 trades, I don't care what the market is doing. I would come back the next day and trade again. Now, that was for my risks, trying to, I've always said to myself, there's 2 sides to risk management. There is capital protection and profits, profit gain, right? That is how I divide my risk management: capital protection, profit gain. And these are things that we need to focus more on. The first thing as a trader, as a smart trader, is to first of all factor in your capital protection first. You need to protect your capital before you can think of profit, right? So that was the first thing I did. In terms of protecting my capital, I said to myself, maximum of 3 trades every day, maximum of 0.5.
So do you trade every single day?
Yeah,
Or do
I
you take
trade every
breaks
single day.
sometime?
I trade every single day because I'm a full-time trader. Like I said, trading is my only source of income, so I have to trade every single day, except for days where I'm probably on tour or I'm not in a comfortable environment to trade. Those are the days where I don't trade. For overall, I'm a full-time trader.
Yeah, you mentioned that you are a full-time trader. When did you become a full-time trader? And what was the moment you knew that now is the right time to go full-time?
Okay, now I would say officially I became a full-time trader in 2021. I became a full-time. I made a decision to be a full-time trader in 2021. But as at that time, it was like I said, I was going back and forth because I haven't been so professional as I would think I was. And in the year 2022, that was when I officially said to myself, now I can feed off on the profit I'm getting from the market. So in the year 2022, I officially became a full-time trader. And ever since, it's been so beautiful with the prop firms and the pictures now. So it's
Congratulations.
really beautiful as well. Thank you.
Yeah. So, indeed, we mentioned the day you decided to go full-time trading. So what was your, profitability just, let's say, a couple of months before?
Okay, now I really can't remember for a setting, but I can give you an idea. When I became a full-time trader, the concept I wanted to the goal I wanted to achieve was to make enough to sustain myself, right? I wanted to make bare enough so I can provide for my basic necessities. So I think in 2021, I was, because of my trading science, I was making around I think 1,000 let's say $500, $600, $400. There are months where I wouldn't make profit from the market as well. And like I said, I was going back and forth for a long time. But in 2022, that really made the difference for me, because I stepped into 2022. Like I said, I started focusing on risk management. And in 2022, I started seeing my growth, because I focus more on compounding rather than trying to be right every single time I take a trade. So for me in 2022, I can't point out a number, but I can tell you I had more than enough to not just pay my bills, to not just pay, to sustain myself every month, but I had more than enough for every other thing I needed money for. And to me, that was literally enough for me.
Mm, mhm. Let's talk a little bit numbers. So what was your trading capital when you decided to go full-time?
Okay, my trading capital was $2,000 when I decided to be a full-time trader. Then I was trading, building on that trading account for a longer time until I took up a prop account. That was last year August when I took up a prop account, and um then I made my first big payout was $11,000. $11,000, yeah, I can remember. That was
Wow.
my first big payout from prop firm. And since
Yeah.
then, since I made that payout, I've never traded. I've never put so much emphasis on personal funds. From then ever on, it's been trading prop accounts, making profit from the market, and just going gradually. So I would say started with $2,000, then leveraged myself all the way to where I am today.
Nice one. So, how profitable are you right now? And you mentioned that now you don't really trade your own capital. You have a funded account, and your
Yeah.
last payout was $11,000. So, how long have you been trading with funded accounts? Or do you have only
Okay.
one funded account, or do you have several ones?
Sure. Now, I don't have one funded account.
Mm.
Like I said, my first encounter with prop firms was last year, August. And that was when my Forex fund reached out, and I got my first account from them. I don't want to go in detail. And I got a 100K trading account, and I passed phase one using just one trade. That was NFP, NFP for the month of August. I still have the records for this trade. And phase two, I passed using CPI as well. Now, that was my first encounter, seeing that I do have a 100K funded account that I can trade that will and make profits according to my to how I want it. So that was my first prop account, and my first prop account was a pass. Then I lost it eventually because, like I said, I was new to the prop firm space. It was my first time, and I didn't understand. I was coming from a position where the accountability was just to myself as a trader, because those were my personal funds. So I was making that transition from trading personal funds to trading prop firm, and I was quite new. Of course, I got the account and I lost it. Then I started trading from August last year. Started trading prop firm all the way till I think around January, February this year. I made my first biggest payout, which was the $11,000. And from there, I took out the funds and invested the funds in physical businesses, because the idea or the end goal is to get these funds and invest in physical businesses, just in case there are days where the market wouldn't print that money for you. You need to have some sort of extra source of income, which is very relevant. But when it comes to how much I make now from trading, I really can't pin out a number. Like I said, the market is so random. There are weeks where I make $1,000. There are weeks where I make $2,000. There are weeks where I make $200, right? But one thing I try not to do is to force my systems. I have around 5 funded accounts right now, and I have a 25K which with Billions Club. I have 25K with Funded Next. I have 200K with Funded Next as well. And all these accounts are live, right? And to be very honest, I will tell you, like I said, I don't get consistent returns. Like on the 25K, I focus on making 1% every week. 1% every week for me is more than enough, because I believe at the end of the month, I should be making around 4 to 5%. And that is decent because I have multiple trading accounts. And if I make 5% on each account, that would account for something good, right? But in terms of the capacity of how much I make now and how well I'm living, I can tell you that I have siblings that I sponsor their university, right? And these funds would
It's
come
very nice of
from
you.
trading.
Yeah.
Exactly. So these funds would come from trading. I really can't give you a figure. I can tell you I make $1 million from trading. I make $10 million from trading. I really can't give a figure. But what I can say is consistently, trading pays my bills, not just my bills as well, takes care of my family as well. And to me, that's quite decent as a trader.
It's very nice. It's very nice that you support your siblings. It's very nice of you and very generous. You also mentioned that there's $11,000 that you got as a payout. You invested in a physical business. What kind of business was it?
Okay, so I've always been in the tech space before. I've always been in the tech space and as a trader as well. And my first startup was launching a laundromat service in Nigeria. And because the reason why we started that was because we noticed a lot of people needed help with doing their laundries, and we wanted to create a platform for them to have access to doing this in less than few hours, right? We don't want the idea where you have to take your clothes and you wait for like a couple of days before you pick them up. So we started a service that allowed users to track their laundry on a mobile app. So we created a mobile app for them. So what you would see is from the time where you dropped your delivery, you get to see it will give you the notification that your laundry your clothes are being washed. It will tell you we're done with washing now. We're pressing your clothes. Your clothes is ready for pickup, right? So these things keep you in check, and you get to know that okay, at this time, at so time, I can just come in and my clothes is ready for pickup. So this was like my first business. It's been running for a longer time. I also have a food ordering service as well. We are like a middleman between the restaurant and the consumer, right? We created a platform where people can come on and order their lunch, their dinner, their breakfast on this platform so they can have access to it.
Sounds great. I know that you're originally from Nigeria. Tell us a little bit about trading in Nigeria. Is it famous?
Yeah, in Nigeria right now, I can tell you the average person or the average young person is interested in trading, because I think in the year 2020, during the pandemic, a lot of things did change for a lot of people. The world went digital. A lot of businesses were shut down due to the COVID-19 thing, and since then, a lot of people literally started looking out for online businesses they can do, online startups they can also start as well. And currently in Nigeria, I can tell you that the market is ready. A lot of young people are really interested in trading. Wherever you turn, you always would hear people talk about, oh, I have a Forex account. I funded and I lost my trading capital. I funded, I lost my trading capital. So it's always the conversation amongst young people. And I can tell you, I haven't met a young person in Nigeria that doesn't know about trading or haven't been into trading before. So yeah, it's that way in the country right now.
Is there any restrictions?
Well, for that, right, I really can't say because I don't work with this regulatory bodies. So I really can't tell you specifically if there are restrictions or
Yeah.
regulations. To the best of my knowledge, there is none, right? To the best of my knowledge, because we have a lot of brokers in this country that aren't regulated. We have lots of um, trading academies in the countries as well, that are just running as a startup and also doing their things, right? So, like I said, I don't think, to the best of my knowledge, there are regulations that would prevent people from trading.
You had experience with trading your own capital as well as having funded accounts. Is there a big difference between your trading strategy, trading your own capital, whereas trading funded accounts?
Yeah, there is a huge difference between
Mm.
personal funds and funded accounts. And like I said, with personal funds, you're in control, right? It's your trading capital. You're not accountable to anyone. You don't have the maximum drawdown, so you're allowed to be spontaneous at any time you feel like, because at this point, you don't owe it to anyone to follow a system, even though it's required, right? And trading personal funds, you can make your withdrawals when you feel like it. You can quickly just count the market and go in and out. So you have this freedom that allows you to spontaneously make decisions. But then when you switch from personal accounts to a funded account, you switch from being a private equity holder to an account manager. Now you're an account manager because you're managing funds for the firm. You're trading and you're accountable to these firms. You have to hit 8% profit target. You have to make sure you don't expose the equity to, let's say, 5% maximum drawdown every single time. So now there is structures and there are set rules that you must follow. Now, this is actually the major reason why traders lose their prop account, because the transition from freedom to a position where you're not necessarily free. Now, in as much as prop firms definitely come with the opportunity to leverage on your funds, you also need to understand that there are other sides that would limit you and your possibility as a trader, right? So that transition is the hardest. Like I said, when I was making that transition, a lot of things didn't just seem right to me, because now I can't trade more than 5%. Now I can go all in and just flip the account the way I want it. So you see, these are the problem a lot of traders are having. When they're making that transition from trading personal funds to a prop account, there are a lot of unlearning you have to do. You have to unlearn a lot of things. You have to start afresh again and ask yourself, now I know that I'm managing personal funds. And since you're managing funds for a firm, there are certain rules you must abide to. So I would say there is a huge difference between a personal funds and also trading a prop account. And if you can learn to spontaneously make that switch, you'll definitely be a successful prop firm trader.
Nice one. What do you think are the the biggest advantages of having funded account?
Yes. The biggest advantage of having a funded account, I've always said this, right? Prop firms are out here to help you leverage, right? Take advantage of leverage. And this is very, very important. I keep telling my traders, rather than take your $100 trading account and fund into your broker, where eventually you would see 5% as too small. Because you see, a lot of time, I keep telling traders, the difference between you and that big trader you're looking up to isn't solely the strategy, right? More often, it could be your trading size, right? There are times where if we both take the same trade and we both make 5%, and you have $100,000 trading account and I have $100 trading account. Now, 5% to you is $5,000, but 5% to me is $5, because I have $100 trading account. So you can see the difference and how prop firms are literally stepping into the face to help traders. So I keep telling people, rather than take your small $100, your $200, why not give it a shot, right? Get a prop account and take advantage of leverage, because you see, it might take a longer time. it definitely might take a longer time for you to get to that level where you have a live account, because of course you would need to pass 8%, you would need to pass 5% in your phase two, and it's fine. I keep telling people, don't rush the process, right? Even if it takes you 3 months for you to pass these phases, take your time. Now, when you get to that level where you now have a live account where you use $500 to buy a 100K trading account, imagine the leverage. That is so crazy, because you used $500 to have $10,000 equity exposure, and that is really good. So I would keep saying it. I've been a strong advocate of prop firms because, like I said, right, since I started trading prop firms, I never went back to personal funds. I've been on the prop firm train. I've been trading prop firm for a longer time, and I don't see myself going back. I really don't, because to me, it's an advantage. Yes, there are downsides to everything. There are downsides to even trading personal funds. There are downsides to trading prop firms. You have to wait for your 8% profit target. You have to wait for the 5%. A lot of people don't have that patience. But what I keep telling traders is, if you can wait, if you literally can wait for your 8%, your 5%, and you have your live account, you would understand the relevance of a prop account.
Mhm. I know that you have a funded account with billions as well. When will you give us a try?
Well, I've heard about you guys. I've seen um the company account make comments on my post at some time. And then when I did my research, as at the time where, of course, the firm reached out to me, and I also did my research as well, and I got to find out that, okay, these guys are not like the other firms. And I'm being very honest. I keep telling people this, right? Most firms in the industry don't have a physical working space. They hire should I say virtual or remote workers, right? They get virtual assistants to run the customer care service. But these guys, the Billions Club, they do have a physical location. And that for me is a green flag, because I want to see that these guys do have the structure to actually stay in the game. Before I pick a firm, I'm always interested in sustainability, right? I need to be sure that tomorrow I wouldn't wake up and the firm is gone. So when you start digging deep and you start seeing that, okay, these guys have a physical location, these guys have a working staff system, these guys are putting in content, they're putting out content every single day. So they are literally putting themselves out there every single time. And you know the CEO, right? I can't trade with a firm where I don't know the CEO. I mean, you guys have one of the coolest CEOs in the industry, and I'm not capping, right? So the CEOs are known. So if you can have all of this, then I mean, you should trust the firm. And that was the reason why I made the call.
Thank you very much. It's a real pleasure to hear it. Last question. What do you think are the most important rules of becoming a profitable trader like yourself?
Well, I keep saying this. I'm a risk management trader, right? And I will keep telling traders to not rush the process. You see, we live in an industry where misinformation has been on for decades, right? A lot of lifestyle traders are making the beginner traders feel like they can come into this industry and in less than 2 days make $1 million from the market, right? That is not the reality. And I keep telling traders, if you want to be a successful trader, the first thing you must do is you must take out the flip mentality. The flip mentality was one of the belief system that kept me unprofitable for a longer time. I wanted to flip an account. I was so eager to take $100 to $10,000, take $5,000 to $1 million. I really want to get those funds. But if you're in this game, you need to understand the market isn't going anywhere. The market would be here today, tomorrow, and the next 10 years. So why are you trying to rush the process, right? So my first advice would be take out the flip mentality. Understand that this is a game of probability. You're definitely going to lose. You're definitely going to lose. Irrespective of which system you trade, you're always going to lose. So you have to accept the nature of the market, right? Accept the nature of the market that you're going to lose. And then when you have an account, either it's a funded account or a personal account, you need to focus on risk management. You see, I always tell my traders, technical analysis can only tell you the direction of the market, right? It can only tell you if price will pull to the upside or price will pull to the downside. That is what a technical analysis can do for you. But the most important part of trading is risk management. The mathematical part of trading is the most relevant part of trading. So a lot of traders need to start focusing more on their risk to reward, their maximum exposure per trade, their equity exposure per day, per week, per month, on the profit returns. A lot of these things fall under risk management. And I will keep telling traders, risk management is king, and you should focus more on risk management.
Daniel, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate you sharing your experience, knowledge, and I hope I will see you next time right next to me in the studio.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
And you guys, if you like this interview, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. So see you next time.